Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am fired up to have you join us today because this is a subject everybody needs to hear about and do something about in their own world. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing life and business with a servant's heart. And with that approach, how much you can change your life and other people's lives and the difference you can make. We also create this podcast because my guest is going to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you on the subject that they're expert at. And in this case, you're going to get a lot of motivation, a lot of education, a lot of inspiration, but bring a Kleenex with you because this is not a good subject. It's a tough subject. While listening to the show too, I want to give you a call to action. While you're listening to this great guest, I want you to think about how you're going to serve yourself and serve others today and what impact you create today. And the subject of Parkinson's is what we're going to be talking about, how that disease is taking over the world and how we need to stop it now. So go out and somebody has Parkinson's, go out and give them a smile, make them smile, do something good for them. That's a way you can serve after you listen to this great podcast. And today's episode is proudly sponsored by our incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance. Would you like to be part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries? Together, they're building a thought leader platform to impact and change the world. With that being said, this gentleman, my guest, is building a thought leader platform about Parkinson's. I think every one of you has either been affected indirectly or directly with this disease. I know I am. I won't get into my personal story, but it's coming and it's probably right even with cancer. And I'm sure my guest is going to tell us about that. But this is a slow disease. This is a disease that he's going to tell you more about. And I've seen a number of individuals that I've talked to with this, and it's not good. So let's welcome our guest. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you for your time. It was a beautiful introduction, one of the best, and it'll be tough to follow, but I appreciate you and your audience for giving me this opportunity.
Well, God bless you. Thank you. And God bless what you're doing. Let's jump in. Sure. Tell your story about your mom, Together for Sharon, and why you're so passionate about this.
Yeah, first, again, thank you. And I was excited to be with you today because my background is actually in law enforcement, but also business. I have an MBA. I teach professor of business management, all different areas of the law and ethics. But your topic and the name of the show fits beautifully. And today we're not focused on business, but unfortunately and ironically, Parkinson's disease is something that's putting people who have careers in the business field out of their career. And that's a book I'm actually looking into now about. There's a lot of laws and things to protect people and birth discrimination due to disabilities like Parkinson's disease that many people are just not aware. And just to get started, Parkinson's disease is the second fastest growing neurological disorder, neurodegenerative throughout the world. So it's not just in the US, but it reaches the world everywhere. So we really need more awareness. I feel we'd be closer to a cure if we had everybody, whether you're affected personally or just a neighbor, family, or community has it. It's many things, and we don't have the time to get too scientific, but it's a disease that affects rigidity. So people often call it freezing, where even if I kind of reach to the screen to touch it, my mind is saying do it, but my body won't continue on. Others have external tremors, like the famous actor Michael J. Fox. Some have internal. So, the famous quote is just because someone might be smiling and look good that day doesn't mean you are aware of what's happening on the inside. That's with a lot of disabilities today. We see just because someone's, on my show or your show and smiling and giggling doesn't mean they don't suffer quietly and silently. And my mother unfortunately passed on 1/1/2020 due to Parkinson's, and she was only 69. And my whole career has been really geared around advocacy. Before even hearing the word Parkinson's, I thought it was just like a word. I wasn't even aware of the disease that would take my mother. She had it for about 15 years, but for 7, it didn't affect her where she wouldn't have been able to be independent. But then finally, the 4th year before she passed, she went for a special trial because we tried everything. And I don't know if they drastically changed her medicine, but that was the year I had to kind of drop my life and take over as her caregiver. And I don't think I'd be the man I am today or the successes I've had if it wasn't for my mother's sacrifices over her life. And again, this is a tough topic, so even now it's not always easy. And the odd thing is, I don't want anything, from anyone. It's just not a business we're selling. I'm not an organization on purpose. I didn't want it to be like that. I'm just one son, one voice who lost his best friend mother due to this disease, and I feel like she lost 15 years alive and 15 years after because of my weird brain. I feel you should be living to 85 and beyond, and I just won't stop because I don't want people like I did feel alone, and my mother felt alone. She never even met someone with Parkinson's, which is shocking because today I have so many people out there I'm family with now going through the battle that I'm side by side with them till we find a cure. And I don't want anyone also to have to go through this anymore.
George, God bless you. I'm 63. You just hit home with me. I had to stop for a second and look at my life. And audience, I don't know if you heard this, but this is not a business. This is not a foundation. Well, maybe I don't know if you have. We'll get.
No,
It's not. It's not.
Actually, if you go to, we'll get to it. I guess togetherforsharon.com. The website I created in memory of my mother, but it's kind of grown. We thought we'd have 3 or 4 people. Had over 40,000 people visit. We have a book out, which if we have time, I'll mention. But the reason, and I donated everything. We spent so much, and you probably know, on the book because it's self-published, and donated everything to organizations like the Michael J. Fox Foundation. But you happen to click on Together for Sharon, click donations. There's a few incredible Parkinson's geared organizations that made beautiful links in memory of my mother. So anyone out there, if you donate even a penny or a dollar, goes to their organizations, not me.
Okay, audience, this is your call to action. As soon as we get off here, I'm going to donate.
Thank you.
It's done. And you're very welcome, George. That's what a servant's heart does, exactly what you're doing. It's massive what you're doing. You're not taking a dime. You don't want to take a dime. You just want to cure Parkinson's. Let me ask you, I've heard stuff about food and what we eat. Is that part of this equation of why Parkinson's is rising? I don't know if they were telling me the truth, to be honest.
Yeah, that's an amazing question. There's so much, really to get into. We would need 17 episodes. But
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that Parkinson's comes from environment. My mother had a beautiful home in South Florida, but unfortunately she had mold and termites throughout her life. And that's all normal because it happens, with a home after 20 years. But God knows back then what they sprayed. Even today, ironically, yesterday, my pest people were here. They refuse to come in the house, which I love. They don't spray in. Now, they didn't have that 10 years ago. They sprayed everything. They sprayed the walls, the bed. Who knows? They just all over. It's great. So some are big believers that it's environment. It's not really linked too much to genetics. They aren't sure. And there's no other real fact-based reasoning. But I can tell you, a lot of the research medical professionals I've had on my show, which we have a show now called Q&A with Sharon St. George, where I've interviewed people around the world for Parkinson's. I actually had Bernie Kosar, the famous legendary football player, on recently. He has Parkinson's. I had a message too from Brett Favre, which we added to the website, and also Muhammad Ali's daughter. So there's also, and I met with my Mr. Michael J. Fox a few times now. It's all on the website. But I believe it's the pesticides that are sprayed in the supermarkets. It's the water that we drink. Shockingly, you might have heard of Camp Lejeune, where our veterans now are suffering with various diseases due to the chemicals and toxins in the water that were really contaminated. Also, not to get too in depth, which we can, but something called paraquat, which is used in a lot of this poison. And it's banned in every country except Australia and the United States. Go figure that out. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and then finally, the scariest is I was interviewing a really world-renowned doctor, and he told me that even our laundry, the chemicals. So while he was speaking, I was thinking in my brain, how do I get this jacket off and burn it? Well, so
Yeah. Yeah.
now
It's scary.
one tip they say is, and I did it yesterday, when you get your dry cleaning, take the wrapping off and all the plastic and leave it outside for 10 minutes. So not sure if that'll help, but there are a lot of little things. The problem with
Yeah.
food, we need organic, but as you know, everyone knows it's so expensive. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of problems. We need more politicians involved. Thankfully, just this year, the National Plan to End Parkinson's Disease passed unanimously through the House, Senate, and the president signed into law only a month or two ago. And shockingly, it's the first law ever in US history to help support and find a cure for research to end Parkinson's. That was spearheaded by the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I had the honor to join in with my local center. We actually had United States Senator Rick Scott on the show too. And it's just been a beautiful journey. There's a lot of positive, even though it started out as darkness, you know, from losing my mother. Because now the holidays are coming and there's a seat missing at our table due to Parkinson's, which is heartbreaking. But again, there's just so many incredible people like yourself, your audience, and those in the Parkinson's community that I now call family. And funny, after our show today, I'm running over like 20 minutes. Somebody who's in one of the big Parkinson's organizations and I have become friends, and she actually speaking. So I'm running to drive over just to give her a hug, take a picture. And it's like, you know, you make these friends who now mean more than just, you know, there's no money in here. We just want to all have the same cause, and that's to end Parkinson.
Your humbleness is really taking me back. I appreciate it so much because you do fit this show to a T. If people took their business with your attitude and humbleness, we need to make money. I'm not saying that. We all do. I mean, you make money as a professor. I make money in podcasts, the things I do. But there's times when we need to go, money's not a part of this equation. We got to make a change. And that's what you're doing.
It's funny you mention that because there are days, unfortunately, I think to myself, I might need some sponsors or something because it is hard. I mean, I don't want to say numbers, but we've spent tremendous, like almost full salaries. So regular individual might make a year and just poured it into my website and the whole entire community. And again, I don't want anything back, but to continue on, it has passed my mind, do we start a foundation? But the reason I haven't still is I really like working with everyone all over. And then if you have a foundation, at least in my opinion, as an attorney, you know, it's kind of selective and more limited.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this with what you're doing. Sponsors, anybody out there, sponsors, here's the power of it. I'm going to go on a quick rampage here. When you sponsor a message like this, and imagine you put 100,000 in, let's just throw a number out there. And in 10 years, this has been eradicated by 80% of the people in the world. What is your business going to look like? And what is it tied to? What a powerful message. Sorry, audience. I know I don't like selling it on podcasts, but this is completely different. This is powerful. And I'm going to support this in as many ways as I possibly can. Regards to the book, let's jump into the book and, you know, how can people get it? What's the mission? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I'm actually excited because for the first time after, you know, it's not easy. I'm actually have several books ready each year I like to release, and I don't want to write books. I just find with my background as a police officer and a lawyer, I find areas that just there's no awareness at all. My next book is actually going to be released, I hope, next April for Parkinson's Awareness Month. And it's actually on police and Parkinson's. It's the first book in the world that's going to really go deep, dark down into the world of law enforcement, my background and the lack of awareness. But it's a pro-positive book. It's not a negative police book. We have enough of those. This one's pro, but it's going to talk about, and it's a research book where I have almost 100 references where it's going to show interactions between police and people with Parkinson's and talk about how people with Parkinson's, some even fear police. And then some police don't even know what Parkinson's is. And if an individual gets pulled over and they're having symptoms such as, you know, movement because of the medication time, they're going to think they're drunk or drugged, and it's not going to end well. So my dream is really to get all the academies throughout the U.S. to add the word Parkinson's, because currently they don't, and a lot of other things that I don't want to kind of already giving too much. So, but my first book was about my mother and her journey. And then my journey, my life has been dedicated to crime victims. I worked as a lawyer, intern at the prosecutor's office, did criminal defense, and then also really had a passion because I'm from Brooklyn, New York, with victims. So I've worked in my dissertation an area is aiding African American mothers who lost their loved ones due to murder, West Palm Beach, Florida. And that was so I've always been an advocate, but I kind of switched, to caregiving and then to Parkinson today. But the whole thing is all just me. Some nights I don't sleep, kind of sad because I miss my mother and I do wish I could bring her back, but at least through you and your audience and everyone listening who shares this, she still in a way lives in her memory, in my memory, but her memory lives on. And I would love to say tomorrow we have a cure and I can stop everything. So that's the real goal. But the book was really important. I didn't really want to write a book, but what I did is the last year of her life, we were told by many doctors, you don't die of Parkinson's, you die with it. So even sitting here now, 5 years later, I'm still in shock that she didn't have any other medical issues. So I wrote a journal the last year of her life, and it kind of went date by date and time by time as to our conversations and her calls, and some of it is tough to read, but I also talk about how supportive my family, my wife, my children, and I wouldn't be able to have done something like this without their support. And then moving forward and today, how grateful I am to all those out there for all you do to help us with this mission to end the disease.
Your mom's Sharon's a beautiful woman. Looking at that picture, and I'm going to say this: I think if she was standing next to you right now today, she'd be so proud of you. I'm proud of you doing all you're doing, and again, we'll support. Interesting what you said about this disease. Michael J. Fox, Muhammad Ali, now Bernie Kosar, which I didn't know. I followed him, big NFL fan, and others that you mentioned. This is not a money disease, meaning you can't just have multi-billions of dollars and you get it. You have to live the rest of your, control it. Is that the power of the disease in a negative way?
And doesn't discriminate. And I have the book behind me, which is virtual, is my second book. There's 2 sets, but it's called Voices of Resilience. And I've interviewed 1,000 people around the world from England, Spain, Iceland, Norway, Nova Scotia, the US. And it's shocking that Parkinson's does exist in almost every country in the world. So it's not just a United States thing again. And I realized after 2 years after my mother passed that really can't just be about me and my mother. It has to be about everyone, and we have to be a family in this fight. Luckily, 99.9% of people agree. Some of the big organizations, they're not as easy to kind of work with and things. They have rules, which is fine. But I just feel if we don't have those, even do not have Parkinson's, and people who aren't aware join in with us, we'll never be closer to a cure. But if we could reach the world, I mean, I've tried 15 letters over the years to media, can't get a reply. I've reached out to many people. Of course, my mother also told me never give up no matter what. And that's what we're just trying to do. There's some days I'm overwhelmed, burnt out, and feel like a truck drove over me because I just want to scream from the top of a mountain how badly this is affecting people. It's kind of, again, taking people from, people have dreams and like beautiful careers and they're actually unable to perform. And instead of organizations and business too, helping them, they fire them, terminate them unlawfully, so much stuff, and just not enough. Again, I imagine that there isn't, this book was important. I always challenge the listeners to reach out, but there isn't one book like this from a son who lost his mother due to Parkinson's in the world. And I find that sad and odd. Like, I know there are people, and what happens is a lot of the time you lose a loved one, especially for some reason, the Parkinson's world, they kind of close their door. I've been lucky with the people I met, but I do feel at times, because I don't have Parkinson today, no longer a caregiver of someone living with it. There's a category where I am, people who lost a loved one, that the door kind of closes. And I'm trying to kind of open it, because if we bring the 30 million people or more who lost someone, whether it was due to complications of Parkinson's or because of Parkinson's, I think we'd be much closer to a cure. But right now, again, the big saying is, die of Parkinson's, die with it. And I'm not here to go argue and stuff. I know what happened to my family, but every journey is different. So I'm very encouraging and a lot of light and positive. The book is obviously very more positive, except for the one or two tougher times, and my mother's no longer with us. So we're working on a documentary. There's a lot of great things, but I really like working with people like you all, your audience, because I think together our voices are so much stronger.
Yeah, definitely in community. Works much bigger and much faster when there's a community instead of by yourself. And I'm glad you have that. We're coming to the end here. What's the future of Together for Sharon and Parkinson's that you want to see happen?
And my main thing is that people know there's resources out there. And I do a lot of
Mhm.
shows now for free, again, everything. But the reason I do it is, let's take one I just released. I interviewed a gentleman who's amazing from Oklahoma who runs a Parkinson's organization. Well, in reality, I'm in Florida, so some would think, why bother? You know, who cares? Well, my brain and my mind is like, what if there's one person out there in Oklahoma that knows me or saw my show or follows me on social media and doesn't know that this Parkinson's organization exists? So I bring them on the show, I highlight all of them, the whole thing's about them, and that's it. And that's what I do this for. I just want the show to continue. I set out to have one show a month. It's become 80, which is ridiculous, but I just feel there's so much information that people need to know. Just hard because, again, I'm alone in this. It's hard to get, I don't do it for likes and things, but I wish more people would see it. But the most important thing is if they could support just to purchase the book. But again, all of mine to go back to the Parkinson's community. I can give you receipts, and also just this helps keep my mother's journey going. This picture was my mother and me during my wedding, which was one of my most famous
Oh,
memories. And I always say Parkinson's can take somebody and take a lot, but it can never take that moment. And in that moment, we were dancing. My mother looked beautiful, and we were smiling and laughing, and that's kind of the one picture. That's why I used it that we'll never forget. And it really
yes.
just continues to live on only if I have everyone in the world out there. And the other exciting thing, like I mentioned, was not it's because we're on a business show, not that they're here for business, but we
Oh, it's,
finally learned how to put the book on my website. So now it goes to better things than, no offense to this other organizations that take it all. And
yeah.
I wouldn't mind if they take it all and put it to donate it back, but so this is like a record thing. So now if everyone just support us and purchase the book, we can actually use it for good. So, and then the last thing, if you mind, I have a little message I always say to you and everyone.
Yep.
We love you. We support you. We care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with the incredible host Steve here, will advocate for you. And I feel together our voices are so much stronger. And I always kind of joke and say I'm just getting started, because even though I've been doing it for many years, when I meet you and we kind of talk, and the friendship I hope comes from this, and all
Yep.
your listeners share it, it kind of re-motivates me, like that little Energizer bunny, to get up even if it's a tough day. I just had 4 surgeries myself, back surgeries, and second I came out of anesthesia, I didn't care about my back. I just took my phone, started advocating for Parkinson's cure, because I don't know if I'll get it one day, but I don't want anyone else to have to go through this. And again, so grateful for your time today and everyone listening. We sent out
No, God bless you and thank you. Very serious topic, important topic, but I always like to end with a fun improv question
sure.
to get to know you a little bit even more than we already know now, how powerful you are and wonderful. So you have a reservation in a restaurant, table of 4. You're going to sit at one table. Who are you going to invite in the other 3 chairs, dead or alive? Why are they invited? And what food would you order?
It's a long one. My mother,
Yeah.
obviously, my
Yeah.
wife. We can't fit 3 kids, so unfortunately they'll have to wait. But the fourth person would probably be someone like Muhammad Ali, or currently alive, Mr. Michael J. Fox, because these people are heroes to me. Probably would eat sushi because that's my favorite food. For some reason, I could
Yeah.
live on that. But
Yeah.
the Muhammad Ali and some of these amazing people, celebrities, but they could live, and it's totally understandable. They can live private lives and not talk about it all. Instead, the 2 of them, at least, and Ozzy Osbourne, they fought back. Michael J. Fox has the foundation. They've raised probably over 20 billion, I think, or something like that. I don't know how much it actually, it was 2 the other day, but they keep raising more money. But he's out there still fighting. He's not doing as well. You've seen him lately, and when I met him, from one year to the next, you could see. And when I met him first time, I kind of I'm 200 pounds and 6'2" police. But I went into the bathroom and cried when I met him, because part of me was in heaven that I just met this hero of mine as an advocate. I'm not talking about the celebrity. I don't care about that. And then the other part was heartbroken, because I saw a lot of what he's going through, and my mother, and it's just going to be, it's tough seeing that. So I hope that answered the question. Now I'm getting
Absolutely. No, we can tell this is a passion of yours. You do your professor and, you other stuff for money, but this is a passion. And I love that, because this podcast is really doing business and life with a purpose, with a servant's heart. I always say purpose, with a servant's heart. So this is kind of amalgamation of business and life. It affects your life. You've got this business, even though you're not making money, you still got to run it like a business. So you fit very well for this. People listening, they probably got Kleenex out. They're probably tearing up. They probably want to connect with you and support you. How can they do that?
Yeah, it's just me, even though we have several social media website. I'm out there all over. I'm actually going today to something, but it's it's underneath the togetherforsharon.com. You can email me there. You can sign up for free. We have a newsletter. You can watch the shows completely free. I don't expect anyone to read them, but all 1,000 interviews are free. Everything's free. It sounds like I'm a Shark Tank, and after you say free, but wait, there's more. There's nothing, no more. I just feel that if we get these other journey, and that's what the resilience book up there is. That's a 2-part book, and it's just beautiful to me. My first book was about my mother and our journey, but this book was about the other individuals in the world, advocates. I call them Parkinson's warriors, because they are fighters, and other medical doctors. And also now we've been covering other diseases like ALS and dementia and Alzheimer's, because I want a cure for everyone, for everything. And until there's a cure, I won't rest or stop. Just last thing, which I don't want to leave depressing, but I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it means so much to me to advocate that when you pass away, I visit my mother's grave, and you have 2 choices of little, hearts. We're Jewish, not religious, but she has nice little pictures, like a heart and a Jewish. But I've already paid extreme amount of money to have one of those pictures be the tulip, which is actually, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
It's the Parkinson. Yeah, that's going to be one of the low pictures on my gravestone, because no matter what, I'll never stop fighting in my mother's memory. Even hopefully, again, there's a cure, but if there's not, beyond my lifetime. So thank you.
Yeah. No, you're very, very welcome. And we're all going to die. Audience, we're all going to die. It's just inevitable. We can't avoid it. It's live your life full, like George is doing right now. He's living a full life, busy life, but it's full because there's a lot of humbleness, a lot of empathy, and a lot of love coming his way, actually coming both ways. And audience, I say this all the time, but it's bigger today than most shows. It's the call to action. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and here's why. If you know somebody with Parkinson's, or know a family member or a friend that's taking care of somebody with Parkinson's, or just want to serve other people, take this incredible podcast that George just did and share it with them. And go, man, I just listened to George, lost his mother, Parkinson's. He's passionate about this. They may want to connect with him and use his resources. That is the greatest gift you can give, is what George is doing, and maybe just his website. But use that podcast link to do that. To, in this case, it's not market, but to really gift and give people opportunities to really just be able to take care of them. If we all do that in this world, it'd be a better place. And as always, me and George want to thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business, and in this case, life, with a servant's heart. Have a great day, everyone.